You might have already missed it. So if you're going up, you may be taking that Adirondack train up there, and it's all over with, folks. Was it cold yesterday and windy and cold and wow?
That wind was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And did you see pictures of the hail from the day before?
I didn't see that.
Incredible. I think Joe Lode was one of the people who sent us pictures.
Yeah, they were calling for hail.
It looked like snow.
Yeah. Big news, of course, this is a great example of why we really have to hold back from stuff that you see on Facebook and on topics. We heard a lot of things about this bombing in Floyd, and yesterday it was announced, and we're going to talk to Sheriff Rob Mashel coming up in a few minutes, but yesterday announced that there was an arrest, and this is a really bizarre story, right? Mm-hmm. So what do we know as of right now?
Do you want to, because you were there?
Jim Rondinelli was there for us, but he was explaining to me, essentially, and hopefully the sheriff can shed more light. Basically, the victim in this case, his mother is in Ohio. And who's
still, by the way, he's the corrections officer, who's still in critical condition in Syracuse.
His mother has a caretaker out of state. There's an allegation that the people caring for her were stealing money, lots of money, tens of thousands of dollars, and the son found out. I don't know if he confronted them in person or over the phone or with a letter and threatened to press charges. The allegation is they responded by sending this package to his house to get rid of him.
His story, the story from police, is that he was about to report them, and the police story says to stop that from happening, that package was sent. And 3 people have been arrested. We'll get the full details coming in with the Sheriff Rob Mashel later on in the hour, but it is just a bizarre story.
It really is.
That you would go that far. And the one thing that we were hearing, and I was able to confirm, unofficially confirm, is that this was a sophisticated device. Did they get into that at all in the press conference? I think the sheriff, as of yesterday, was saying he wouldn't give any details on the bomb, but I talked to one source who wanted to remain anonymous that said this thing was sophisticated. And that's pretty scary that you can pull off something like this.
And send it like that.
Yeah. Staying away from politics for a few minutes, if you don't mind, because there's just so much of it out there. Very interesting stuff coming out. The letter that this swimmer, this convicted rapist from Stanford, the letter that he sent to the judge prior to sentencing has been leaked, and it is unbelievable when you when you read through this letter. You recall when remember, this is the story where the Stanford student was convicted of raping this young lady. The victim has put a letter out, and of course, in this case, the convicted sent a letter prior to the sentencing to the judge. And this is a completely unapologetic letter. There's not a simple "I'm sorry" in there. He blames the whole thing on alcohol and the party atmosphere at Stanford. And it's very funny. This is the same type of letter that was sent by the father and the same type of statement that was made by the father. So like father, like son, right?
And what's the condition? The affluenza type?
I think that's really what we're dealing with here, Andrew.
A total incomprehension of...
We've never heard of affluenza ever before, a couple of years ago. But I'm beginning to think it exists.
It has to be. This kid has no knowledge of the fact that he did something wrong here. He's
no
got
ability to be able to step up and say, to man up and say, yeah, this is, I did it. It was terrible. It should. And instead, he's blaming the party culture at Stanford, the college party culture,
and that his alcohol tolerance has gone down because he was one of the older people at the party.
Okay, so he's able to.
He's not able to consume as much alcohol, and apparently his younger sister was also at the party.
Wow. Well, it is shocking that that after all of the education that especially college students and high school students receive about this rape culture, that you wouldn't have some bit of apologetic attitude in coming out just for your own good. Now, all he could talk about was how his life has been ruined, how he's lost his scholarship, how his chances of swimming in the Olympics are over. All of it was about him nothing really about the victim. And it's just typical. I hate to say, if so many kids that we see, I hate to sound like the old guy, but we talk about this millennial. I hate to attach it to Bernie Sanders, but this whole group that just is a completely they've been spoiled. They're spoiled brats, and affluenza. Maybe it's something we're going to hear a lot more of. Really unbelievable. I have Tanya J. Powers coming up in a second. We'll talk more about that.